Good evening. Good evening. Welcome along. Just after 8 o'clock, Inspire and Be Inspired, our weekly conversations, motivational topics, life hacks. If it's the first time you're watching, my name's Andy Ward, and as you can see from this little neat graphic that I've got, it is 8 o'clock here in El Mojon, Alicante, on the Costa Blanca. And in the daytime, this weather map looks quite impressive, showing off the glorious temperatures that we have, but it's not really that great of an evening. You can see we're bordering around 15, 16 degrees. Tonight, I am joined by a lady that's not too far away from myself, a little further up the coast, a 10-minute, 15-minute drive. And we're going to be talking about her journey. We're calling tonight's talk Fuck Cancer, One Woman Story of Discovery, Treatment, Recovery, and Beyond. First of all, I want to say thank you to anyone that's watching live. Feel free to comment and let me know you're watching. And of course, the many people who do come back and watch the recording. I will head over and say hello to my guest today. Hi, I'm glad to see that everything is working fine. Please introduce yourself because you've got such a mouthful of a name on Facebook. I'm not sure how I should actually address you. So please.
It's Dawn. I'm Dawn Lindsay McKenzie Brown.
Okay. So is that how everybody has to address you every time they meet
No,
you?
just Dawn, but Spanish seem to call me Lindsay because otherwise they call me down.
and,
Down.
and down you are definitely not. So we got Michelle watching us live. Good evening, Mrs. Ward.
Yay.
And a few others will be passing through. What I want to do is to find out all about yourself. We met via Michelle, who's a client of yours, and you came along to one of our brunches that we did a few years ago, and it wasn't long. It wasn't long after your treatment, if I remember correctly.
I just had my mastectomy the week before, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, you were in high spirits, to say the least. So
Yeah.
I knew straight away you definitely were a character. So let's find out all about you, growing up, where you grew up, and all about the early days of Dawn Lindsay McKenzie Brown.
Well, I grew up in Rotherham, just outside Sheffield, South Yorkshire, 1973, July the 2nd. I've lived all over England, lived Wolverhampton, London, Derby, back to Rotherham, Sheffield, back to London, Wolverhampton, Derby.
Is that is that because of your parents' jobs or?
No, it was just I was a wild child,
Okay.
partying and dancing, and so yeah, I was a bit of a wild child growing up.
All right. Okay. So you would have been just a couple of years younger than myself, but around heavily
Yeah.
into the rave scene.
R&B,
Okay.
jungle and all that back in the day.
Where some of the favourite places that you would have gone to?
Gossips in Soho in London. And then I used to go a lot of blues clubs like Peaceful Valley in Hackney, I think it were. Runners Hideaway in Sheffield, Donkey Man's in Sheffield. And there's a couple of places in Wolverhampton, in Birmingham and Wolverhampton. I can't remember the names of them now.
All right. Well, I did kind of put you on the spot. So I'll let you off. I wanted really to get a snapshot of the kind of person that you were. As we can see, very colourful. You've always taken great pride in your appearance, right? From an early age.
Yeah, always. When I was 16, I went to do modelling, and I got told I got to lose weight at 16. So then I ended up going down a wrong route and losing a lot of weight.
Okay,
Um,
with an eating disorder.
yeah. Obviously, I've not got it now. I love my food. I wish I could have it back for a couple of weeks. But now, I've all my life I've battled with my weight up and down. But yeah, in London, I kind of really, really bad with my weight, and then lightest I've been was 8 stone 3. And at that point, I got up scales and I looked in the mirror and I just thought, that were in my 30s, that. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I don't like what I see. So I started eating again. So just literally ribs and hips.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So that would have taken you, when did you decide that you were going to relocate to Spain?
9 years ago, coming up for 9 years ago, we moved here. We just had enough for England, and we just decided his mum and dad were already out here. And then we just decided, like, we came out on holiday for 2 weeks. Well, yeah, 3 weeks. Went back to England, and I went, I want to go back. So in 2 weeks, we were packed up, sold all the stuff, and we were out here.
So tell us about your family unit then.
My mum and dad still live in England. My sister, she's in England. She's married. We had one daughter. I've got one son in England and two stepsons. They're all got their own kids. Well, apart from Warren, he's just got married, but he's doing accountancy, and his girlfriend's a trainee lawyer. So they've just bought a house. They're doing all their stuff first before they even think of kids.
Fantastic. And then, so with you here in Spain now?
Tori, she's 12, goes Spanish school. She's fluent Spanish. TikTok, crazy.
And you stole her ring light off her as well?
I have, yes. Yeah. I think I should have a bit of fame for once.
Brilliant. Okay, so Tori, who else is with
you? Sorry.
So who else is with you in Spain?
My husband, Craig, and then my mother and father-in-law, they live over in La Florida. They moved out here before us.
Right. Okay. So I think it's important to just to point out as well, you're slightly under the weather today with just a little bit of a cold, right?
Yeah, it's not COVID, it's not the Black Plague, and it's not was a bubonic plague either.
so tell us what. So when you moved over to Spain, so tell us about your profession, and did you start doing that when you were here, or did you move over to do that?
No, I started doing nails about 15 years ago. I used to work in care homes, and I worked up to deputy manager level. And I absolutely loved working in care, but I just got to a point where I felt it was time for a change. And I just, I was signed off. I've battled with depression as well all my life, and I was signed off work with depression. And then I was put on incapacity. And while I was in incapacity, I used the money from that. I could get a part-time job. And I used the money from incapacity to train in nails. And then since moving here, I've trained in more things. And especially since I've had cancer, it made me more determined to train in other stuff. It's like now I'm training in hairdressing. I want to train in other things. I've trained in body piercing. So I'm trying to add more. Is it bows to your belt? Strings to your belt?
More strings to the bow.
That's it.
Add more strings to the bow. Yeah. Okay, so moved to Spain 9 years ago. Yeah. And so tell us, I guess, tell us about how you started to feel that things weren't quite right for you. And the reason, actually, sorry to interrupt, the reason why I'm actually conducting this interview and the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because we all know people who have been touched by cancer, diagnosed, having to deal with the treatment, recovering from it. And I know personally your story. I know it's a really interesting story and a brave story as well, and I think a lot of people will take a lot from this. So that's why a DJ is talking to a friend of his about her journey with cancer. So I just wanted to frame that. So okay, so start with how you knew things weren't right.
Yeah, I don't know whether it were anything to do with it. Well, I kept saying to Craig, I just don't feel right, and this went on for a good few years. And say we got married, well, a couple of years, from 2015, and in 2017, I found a lump. I were sunbathing upstairs on roof, and I just found, I went on the phone to Craig, and I was like, this kind of thing, and then I felt this lump, and I went, oh, that. So he was like, don't worry. He says, you know, it might be just a cyst, but I'd had cysts before in England, and it didn't hurt. There was slight puckering of the skin, which is textbook, like, you know, perfect pea-sized lump, slight puckering in the skin. It's kind of textbook kind of thing. We finding breast cancer, it's what you hear all the time when you're told to check yourself. And so found this lump, made an appointment, went to Pink Ladies and made an appointment at IMED, and when had a mammogram, got my results back the same day, and it said there was nothing there. Well, they sent me the mammogram. Well, to a certain extent, I understand X-rays, and I could see the lump. I should have sent it you actually, because I ringed it, the lump on the mammogram, and I says, it's there. So one of the doctors up at the medical centre pulled a face and sent me for another mammogram. And then obviously I went and had that done. My results come back and they said it's just fatty tissue. And I'm like, well, I've had a second opinion now, so I must be wrong.
So you started off by saying you went to the Pink, you went to the Pink Ladies. The Pink Ladies are a local organisation. Tell us about those.
It was just the people do fundraising for them. They help if somebody's like, you know, concerned if they've got cancer symptoms or anything like that. They put you on to, you know, IMED, they send you for mammograms, smears, things like that. So they kind of help you in that kind of way. So that's what they sent me to IMED.
Okay. So after your second opinion came back all clear, did that put your mind at rest?
No, because I still thought there was something, but because they'd kind of fobbed me off both times, I didn't want to go back. And then after a period of time, the lump kind of felt as though it had vanished. So I'm like, oh, I must have just been a fatty lump. But then my friend Natalie, she came to me one day, and I says, she ran about her mother-in-law being diagnosed with cancer, and kind of similar kind of story to mine. And so she went to me, please go back and get it checked. So I says, well, I felt it over there, and I says, it feels like it's got bigger, and I got her to check it. She went, yeah, go make an appointment. I made an appointment. They sent me for my mammogram, and what they did was, sorry,
it's okay.
They sent me for my mammogram, and then I just knew when they told me to wait outside. My husband Craig was sat outside, and I walked out, and he says, everything all right? I went, no, they've told me to sit outside, so I know it's cancer. Anyway, we were like, what? So when they fetched me back into the, they took me into this other room then to do an ultrasound. But I could see the screen. And when he put the ultrasound over it, it clicked and measured. And I kind of started crying, but it was a relief that I knew that I'd seen it, you know.
Yeah.
But
if you want to stop at any time, that's not a problem.
All right, that's fine. So I kind of started crying with relief that, and he went, oh, you understand? And I went, yeah. He says, okay, we'll talk. I said, it's cancer, isn't it? He says, yeah. I went, right. And then he went into my lymph nodes and one of my lymph nodes were quite big. So he says it could be, but it's not uncommon for women who've got breast implants to have inflamed lymph nodes.
Okay.
It is, but if you have a mastectomy, he says it's also not uncommon for the cancer to jump into the lymph nodes. So anyway, he says what we'll do, he says we'll take one of the lymph nodes out, he says, and we'll put it under a microscope and see what's what when you have your operation. So that was I think the Thursday or the Friday.
And what year was
And,
what is this 20 what year?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah. My birthday. So, well, no, tell her that was Thursday. The following week, my friend Claire, she died of brain tumour. So the following day after she died, I went on my birthday and I got diagnosed with stage 3 aggressive breast cancer. They told me if I kept my breast, there's 50% chance of it coming back, or to have full mastectomy. So like a single mastectomy.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'll just have mastectomy, just take it off.
Because I think it's important. What I wanted to state at the beginning that we kind of skipped over. We mentioned about you always taking a lot of pride in yourself in the fact that enhancements we didn't mention. You drew reference to the point there that you did have implants as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had my first implants. You see, there's actually a story with them as well. I had my first implants when I was in my early 20s, and then I had them redone because they'd gone all out of shape.
Okay.
And my surgeon, I went to Harley Street, so it were quite a good hospital I went to for my implants. And then about 7 years later, they started to change shape. And then I'm getting pain and everything. The NHS refused to do it because I paid private in the first place. And I says, well, if I got that kind of money again, do you think I'd be coming here? And they went, right, well, we can take it out, but not put it back in. So then it would conflict to surgeons. One was saying, if a surgeon's going to take it out, he's not a good surgeon if he's going to leave you like that, because then you're going to have psychological problems after. So I came on holiday to Spain, and before I came out here, Craig said, phone and see about getting them done while we're on holiday, and then you've got 2 weeks rest. And that's what I did. And when they opened me up to put my new implants in, he said my old surgeon had literally butchered me inside.
Wow.
And I should have been in surgery about hour and a half tops. I were in nearly 4 hours. Craig were like wondering what's gone off, but he had to take that much breast tissue away. So we joked. I went, well, at least I'll never get breast cancer. Never joke. So, and then, so I'm quite shocked when I got it. But what the cancer had done, the surgeon said she'd never really known it before. The cancer had actually attached itself to my implant and were trying to get in my body that way. It were like traveling up and to get behind the implant. So they just literally took it all away. Mm-hmm. And that was 10th of July 2019.
So from diagnosis, from the official diagnosis to the treatment, how long was that? Did they race it through?
Yeah, I will say that once I was diagnosed, the oncology team and the chemo nurses, the radiotherapy team, the radiotherapy doctor, my oncologist, they're amazing, absolutely amazing. And they couldn't have done enough for me, really. It was just like the misdiagnosis leading up to that. If they'd listened to me in the first place or done a biopsy back then, instead of just saying, that's a fatty lump, mm-hmm. You could see it, they could have took a biopsy. And that's the other thing as well. They never called me back. They never went, we'll have a mammogram every 6 months or something like that, just to keep an eye on it. I was told it were a fatty lump. And then when I was diagnosed, I said, well, I was told it was a fatty lump. And my doctor went, oh, it was grade 1 of suspiciousness. So I'm
Wow.
like, well, if it was suspicious, wouldn't you have kept checking on it to see if any changes? And they just can't give me answers. You know, I put the questions out to them and they're not giving me the answers. So from 10th July 2019, I've been left. I was supposed to have my reconstruction October last year, and still waiting.
So is that complications due to COVID? Do you think, or
No, it will be before COVID. It's because Ribera's come out of the Torrevieja Hospital. Basically, it's the Spanish health system now, and the attitude of the nurses down there on A&E. I've been to the complaints department with a legal translator. I've been down on my own with just a normal translator. We said, like, you know, we're going to put a denuncia in. And then the last visit, I went down. I said, right, I'm going to start legal proceedings now. And she just looked at me all cocky and went, do what you got to do.
so?
So
Tell us about the treatments that you have had since the main surgery. All of that you said you've been through quite a few different treatments as well.
yeah, I had my first lot of chemotherapy every 21 days for 6 months. Then I had chemo every week for 12 weeks, I think it was. Then I started radiotherapy, and I had 35 sessions, intense sessions of radiotherapy, where my chest was just raw. The pain was unreal, and I had a cold then. So I had to literally lay with one hand like that, no, like that, and like that. And if I coughed, they'd have to start the old procedure again, and it would just, the pain were unreal because it just kept having to zap me and zap me. But I'm still here, so.
And have all the treatment. So where are you now with regards to treatments and them looking at you and giving any kind of all clear? Or
I've got the all clear. I'm in remission. I've got to have tamoxifen every day for 5 years. I have to have an injection once a month, an implant. But then I have to be checked every year. I have to have a mammogram, and I have to have a smear every year, because the medication I'm on can cause cervical cancer.
okay,
So I have to be checked.
so there's complications from that.
Yeah.
So how has that affected you overall with all of the treatments, with the with your confidence due to your appearance? You must have a hell of a battle.
It is. When I look back at my treatment and my cancer journey, that was the easiest part. It's now with being left in limbo. Earlier this year, and this is another thing the hospital know as well. Earlier this year, I went to the doctors. I didn't even tell my husband why he was taking me. I just went, can you take me? And I just had this horrible, horrible feeling. I'd got to get out the house and to doctors. And when I got to doctors, I had a bit of a breakdown in May. I said I didn't want to live anymore. All this, just being left like this and being let down all the time by the system, wasn't helping my depression. And then I got referred to a psychiatrist here, and she was about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. So I kind of like, I don't need, basically, I told her a bit about my history in England. They were at one point querying bipolar with me, so I thought I'll give a bit, because obviously I've got some traits when I go on one. And she went, she'd only seen me 5 minutes. She went, oh, you're not bipolar. And I'm like, what? And then I said, but I don't feel like I can go near my husband and da da da. And she went, you must go near your husband. He's your husband. And that will make counselling. I was like, right, cheers for that.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to do a thumbs up.
Cheers for that. So I went back to my doctor. I went and I got my translator, and I was like, what have you even sent me to there? I went, I don't need that. So I kind of had to deal with my depression myself and just crack on, basically. And that's why I started throwing myself into training and learning stuff and, you know, trying to just keep my brain active to keep it off what I'm going through.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, because it is an inspirational story. Before we start talking about that, there's a couple of photos that you sent through to me. We'll just go through. You can see these, right? So this is you. Tell us about some of these photographs.
Right, that was.
Let me go
that's
back.
what I used to do. I started modelling before my 40th. And that's from Rice's Sub Car Show in England. It were all Japanese cars. And then that was the week before I had my chemo. The week before I had my breast took off. I just found out I got cancer. So I think it were probably about 3 or 4 days after I found out I'd got cancer. I took all my hair extensions out. I started doing it bit by bit. So the loss of hair won't be a big shock for me.
And was it as much of a shock? Were you prepared for it?
It were horrible. I mean, that picture there.
I mean, you own it though. You own it. Your eyes are your eyes are popping. Can't deny it.
I will literally cry my eyes out, and I was like, I can't believe, look at the state of it, and you know, just that. There's like the bottom right hand picture.
Yeah.
That's when I woke up into vocal booth.
Okay.
The one in the middle was before I had cancer. The pink wig was when I lost all my hair before I went to Ibiza. And the top one, I think I've got. The other top one, I think I've got all my packing in.
Yeah, and it looks like you're on one of the pictures. It looks like you're on the treatment there.
Yeah, oh, it could be. Yes.
Yeah.
The top one. Yeah, that's when I was having chemo. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else is in here, because I asked you to send me just a few photos of your different parts of you at different times in your life.
That were me about 10 years old, playing with my Barbies. No, there was Cindy's. My mum didn't let me have a Barbie.
Oh, you sure they weren't action men? Because you strike me as a kind of woman, a girl who'd be playing with action men. Taking no prisoners. And
that was just after I had Tori. And that was just up at a farm near where we used to live, because I've always loved animals. And so I used to take her up to like Wentworth Farm, and we'd go around feeding donkeys and the ducks and everything. Used to love it up there.
Right, okay, so let's get back to all of the journey that you've been on and lessons that you've learned. It pushed you to want to prevent others from having to go through the same experience and coming up against a brick wall, so to speak, in the system. Would you, not that we're looking to lay blame, would you blame the Spanish system, or is it just the lack of support that you've come up against?
I just don't get how they could look at that and not even do a biopsy. It were a clear lump in my breast, and I just don't get it. You know, maybe if they'd took a biopsy back then, or had me checked every 6 months, you know,
things may have been different.
Yeah, I probably still have my breast today. And basically I'm just left in limbo. It's like there's just nowhere at the moment you can go. And I go to hospital and go to complaints department over and over again, and they're just like, yeah, there's people waiting. And my legal translator said, but she's actually been suicidal at one point. And they're like, the mental health side out here is not, I don't think they know enough about mental health in the system out here. you know. I was, you know, it's everything seems very black and very white, no grey areas where you can work with. And like I say, once now I'm just left. You know, the doctors can't apply for me operation again because now Ribera's out. You've got to go to the hospital. I
So
don't get it.
when just for others who are listening, when you say Ribera's out, that's the area that you live in. It doesn't fall.
No, Ribera was the other sector of the hospital. It had a private sector in it as well as
Okay,
the
okay.
Spanish
So
speakers.
I didn't know what that meant when you said
Ah,
Ribera's out.
right. Yeah, it's like a private healthcare inside like the Spain's national health.
Okay.
And that's why there was always like said there was one of the top hotels, one of the top hospitals in the world. And no, it's not. If you
Okay.
actually go on the Torre Vieja Facebook page, it's not just English, it's not just any immigrants, not expats. It's just Spanish as well. The amount of complaints. I actually put a picture on there when I'd had a drip put through my vein wrong, and the nurse, I told her, and she was like, "No, it's okay." And she went and laid on a bed on a phone, on one of
Wow.
other A&E beds on a phone.
So you've definitely got a negligence issue against the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, so that aside, because there's clearly huge shortfalls or shortcomings, if that's the right phrase. Tell us how you're making plans to help others in, and the actions that you're taking.
What I want to do is, like I said, I've gone to see a lawyer about it all. And I've said to her, I says, I'm not bothered about compensation. I just want them to finish the job, what they're supposed to be doing. I want my treatment finished because it is all part and parcel of my treatment. I'm owed that reconstruction, you know, and because it's all political down there, and the lie through the teeth as well. The oncology team, the complaints department, she tried telling me that there's not an oncology plastic surgeon in the Valencian community, which is a load of shit, because one of my mates who lives in like Benidorm, but inland in the mountains, she got breast cancer the same time as me, and that's how we met. And she's had all her reconstruction, and it was only a month or so ago when she had it, like when all the treatment were finished, like, and everything. So there is an oncology, you know, and I've said to him, I'll travel anywhere in Spain. Don't have to be here. I said, I will travel anywhere, you know, to get the operation done, to get it finished. But no, you know, it's just so much lies, and it's not good.
It's not
Not
good.
good.
Okay, so light at the end of the tunnel, though, the support that you can give people, the things that you've started doing with your coffee mornings and wanting to be the voice. Have you not thought of working with the Pink Ladies, because they do a great job as well, don't they?
Yeah. What it is, I'm kind of doing a Wednesday morning. It's work around my work. I've not got time to do full volunteering, but I'm a message away, or I go up and I meet my friends actually now on a Wednesday morning. We have breakfast together, and you know, it's kind of, so I don't waste my morning. But a Wednesday morning, I'm trying to get people to come up if they're querying if they've got cancer, or you know, or if they've got a lump like I had and they've been told, oh, it's a fatty lump. I want to be like, no, you go back and you don't stop until it's, you know, it's biopsied and you're happy with it. You know, it's just, I think I wouldn't have got to stage 3 aggressive if basically they looked at the mammogram properly. That's what mammograms are for in first place, a lump, you know, to detect lumps. The lump detected, but they never did anything. They just went, oh, it's a fatty lump. And obviously it weren't. You know, it just scares me that if Nat hadn't said go and she made me go, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Mm-hmm.
So it had already gone into my lymphs. So
So you've got that experience, and you can be the help that people need.
yeah,
So
yeah.
how are you spreading that message on Facebook or anywhere else?
Facebook. I've got a couple of people who messaged me. Jane, I need to get back to you if you're watching. She messaged me, said she couldn't make last Wednesday because I think she has a treatment on a Wednesday, so that's understandable.
Mhm.
But even if they don't, like, if people don't come up, I'm always going to be there Wednesday morning having my breakfast. So, you know, and if they just want somebody to have a chat with, rant and rave, you know, just, I know what it's like. I know the frustration. So
Mhm.
it's just nice to, because when I got diagnosed, I actually, the only thing I could find were a cancer sisters group in America. It were like, I was like these, and then I got kind of, there were other people in it, and then I got talking to other people who were actually in Spain, or so and so has been diagnosed, or put so and so in touch with you because she's going through the same as you.
Mhm.
And I actually met some really good friends. Some are still here, some sadly died. But we all did journey together,
Mhm.
and you know, we just gave support to each other. You get a number for the hospital if you're feeling a psychiatrist to do with cancer and that. I never found it because I heard it was a waste of time. They either didn't answer the phone or, you know, just it went. So I just thought, oh, I'll just deal with it myself.
So
But
you
I
go on.
worked all the way through my cancer. I didn't. Some people said it because I weren't legal. I was. I just chose to work to keep my mind, keep my sanity. You know, it was just one of them things because I knew my mental health would be like,
Mhm.
and throwing myself into my work kept me going.
And still going you are as well. It is a really inspirational story, and I guarantee that you are going to help more people from sharing your words, even people who aren't in Spain,
I hope so.
and also as well. We hope that it all does come good. So you'll have to let me know, and I can share the
Wicked,
news of
yeah,
the progress as well.
yeah.
I just, like I say, I really felt, because it is a truly inspirational story, and the way that you've handled it, the way that, for the short time that I've known you, the way that I've seen you handle it, it is great. And I'm actually surprised at how well you've delivered the message tonight, and you didn't swear
Oh, thank
once. So
you.
that's amazing.
I'm good. I was surprised myself. My husband actually went, he says, please don't swear, Dawn.
I was quite expecting it, so it wasn't going to be a problem. Dawn, I think we've shared your message. I think we've
Thank
shared your
you.
story, and we're going to get a hell of a lot of people who will. If you don't mind, I'll link you into this video. I'll paste your
Perfect.
profile. So if
Yeah,
anyone wants to send a message to Dawn, give her some love. I'm sure she'd
that's
appreciate that.
that's fine. No problem at all. I just thought, you know, I could help my story will help somebody else,
It,
you know,
it,
catch it earlier than
It,
I
de- it,
did.
de- it definitely will. I guarantee you of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. I will bid
You're
you farewell.
welcome.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
So there you go. Just another one of those conversations that I wanted to share with you. Thank you to everybody for commenting. Hi, Cliff. Hi, Colin. Hi, Gillian. Everyone else that's been passing through and saying hello. Christmas is on at the weekend, right? Saturday morning. So on whatever the day is, next Tuesday, the 28th of December, I'm going to have another interesting conversation. And it's not about music. Generation Z. I'm going to be talking to a young lady, 22 years of age. She's going to be telling us all about life through the eyes of the socially influenced. This will be extremely interesting for anybody that has children around this age, anybody that has nieces and nephews around this age, or anybody that is around this age. I'm looking forward to finding out the what life is truly like for these people. I was actually thinking it was millennials, but millennials is the people before Generation Z. So that's going to be interesting. Um, that's pretty much all that I've got to say for this evening. Thank you so much. A nice short one, but we got the message across, I do believe. And I want to say thank you very much to all of my Access crew for allowing this to happen, for allowing me to get all the little tools and gadgets to make this flow so smoothly. And I say thank you very much. Have an incredible Christmas day. I'll catch you online for a special Boxing Day radio show. And for now, I will bid you farewell. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care now.